I love when I come in contact with someone and you can just see that they're flustered and maybe they're just having a bad day, or, maybe they got bad news or something. That is where you get to practice love the most. When you find yourself in a situation where someone is rude, because the first thing is don't take it personal. They don't even know you, and if it wasn't you, it'd be somebody else. But you are put in this position to have an opportunity to help them out. You smile, you talk to them, you try to just make a connection in a conversation. It's a beautiful day, though. Or what a beautiful shade of green that jacket is that you have, Anu. I really like it. Wow, you are really shining. You know, a compliment goes such a long way. And you just use their name. That's just saying, I see you. I can't tell you how many times people, their frowns turn upside down. They just need to be seen, just need to be recognized.
What if the best chapter of your life hasn't even begun yet? What lies within you is the power to live brighter, bolder, and truer than ever before. So welcome to Vivatude, where caregiving, connections, and career come into balance, and where your vitality, vision, and voice shines through. Because the revolution isn't out there, it's already within you. Welcome to Vivatude.
Welcome to Vivatude. I'm your host, Anu Arora, and this is where wisdom meets connection. Today, I'm honored to welcome a guest whose work truly radiates both, Diane Woodford, One Love Ambassador, host of Love Drops podcast, and author of 2 books, including her most recent, Aftercare. Diane doesn't just talk about love, she lives it, she breathes it, and she spreads it through her practice in communities around the world. And our topic for today is frequency of love. Why does it matter? How does it matter? How can we practice it in a world where agitation is so rampant? That love is both difficult but a necessity. So, welcome, Diane.
Well, thank you, Anu, for having me. It's such an honor to be here with you today. Yes.
My first question, Diane, for you is you have learned to radiate from this frequency of love. You are spreading love and joy to the world. Why do you think it matters?
I believe, first and foremost, thank you for that question. Thank you so much for that question. I believe that love matters because when you look at it, love never fails. Love may take you through difficult trails, but love never fails. I believe that love matters because as I'm speaking to you right now from Dijon, France, hi, and you know, there's a language, there's a language difference here in France, right? But you know what? Love is such a strong frequency that it crosses every line. It crosses the language line. It crosses hearing and speaking line. It crosses adult and children line. Love is such a strong frequency that is a way that we get to communicate universal, and we get to raise the vibrations. We get to, just have people feel good, if only for a moment. And it's contagious. So, yeah.
I love that. It's I love the frequency of love. It sounds poetic, isn't it? But it's
Yeah,
deeply practical also, Diane. I've seen that, I've spoken to you before. And for you, it is practical, it's pragmatic, it's practice. Can you share what it look like from an everyday perspective to live from this frequency? Because you were sharing an example where things will bring you down, but then when you bring yourself up and come back to that frequency, things shift. And so I want
yeah,
you to even share that example or another example on how what does it
absolutely.
look like to live from that frequency.
Absolutely. So it's an intentional choice. You must choose it again and again because as you were saying, I mean, to live in a just a state of bliss and love in the world, and that's kind of like living in a bubble. And that's not what I'm expressing here. I have feelings. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm mad, so I have all of the emotional feelings as everyone else. But here's the thing. What do you do when you have those feelings? What do I do when I'm sad? I'm like, okay, I'm sad. I allow myself to be sad. I allow myself to feel what I feel. But then I consciously make a choice to raise the vibrations. If I feel myself getting anxious, I will consciously just stop and pause, even if it's for 10 seconds, even if it's for 1 minute, but I stop and I pause. And in doing that, I'm allowing my nervous system, my mind, my body, my soul to just reset, right? So when you were asking for an example of love, yesterday, Charles and I went to this beautiful town here in France. It's called Bonn. And we went to the Notre Dame. And so I wanted to light candles. So I went to this nice little lady. She looked to be, maybe in her 70s, 80s, right? She reminded me a lot of my grandmother. So I'm trying to talk with her. So I noticed very quickly that, okay, there's a language thing here. So I began to smile. I began to signal. Just kind of talking with my hands. And the smile is where we made our love connection because then she began to smile back. And I needed to get changed to buy candles. We were able to make that transaction. I bought some postcards. I lit the candles. I was sitting in meditation in the candle area. I had my eyes closed. She came and tapped me. She said something in French. I didn't understand her. She said, oh, that's okay. And she smiled and she says, come with me. Come, 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 come. So I follow her and she takes me through the cathedral and across and over through a courtyard into the most beautiful prayer room. And it was like I had tears. I went back and got Charles and we went and we sat. But it was like I had tears because the love was so overwhelming in that she got up from her station and she felt the love enough to want to share with me love and take me to a place that I didn't even know was there. And it was just beautiful. And that's how love works. Love works where when you give it, it comes back. It always comes back. It may not come back through the same vessel. It may not even come back the same way, but it always comes back at a high frequency and you will feel it. You will absolutely feel it. And that's love.
And what a beautiful example, Diane. Where it crosses all boundaries. Like you were talking about, language doesn't matter, nothing, whether a child or an adult or old person, it does not matter. Love is perhaps the only frequency that transcends all boundaries.
All boundaries, all boundaries. I love when I come in contact with someone and you can just see that they're flustered and maybe they're just having a bad day or maybe they got bad news or something. I don't know, but you can just see it. And sometimes the way that they project and it comes off is they can be a little abrasive. angry, even rude. That is where you get to practice love the most. When you find yourself in a situation where someone is rude, because the first thing is don't take it personal. They don't even know you, and if it wasn't you, it'd be somebody else. But you are put in this position to have an opportunity to help them out, to just help to bring them out. Now, let's just be real. Everybody's not coming out, but that's okay. That's okay. You speak in love. How are you?
Mm.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm having a bad day, or, just whatever. And you just maintain that love frequency and you say, okay, let's take it up a notch. You smile, you talk to them, you try to just make a connection in a conversation. It's a beautiful day, though. Or what a beautiful shade of green that jacket is that you have, Anu. I really like it. Wow, you are really shining. You know, a compliment goes such a long way. That's how love transfer. I love your hair. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful smile. Those are really nice glasses. Just, a lot of times we think those things and we don't say them. You're in the grocery line. People have to wear name tags. A lot of times people do not like to wear name tags, but it's just like, oh, Anu, so nice to meet you. You have a great day, Anu, and you just use their name. That's just saying, I see you. I can't tell you how many times people, their frowns turn upside down. They just need to be seen, just need to be recognized. That's love.
Yeah. I, as you're saying this, you raise my frequency. I mean, the first is what you were saying, you could feel that I could feel that it's coming from your heart. So the genuineness of it was very clear. And the second thing is when you smile, the world smiles and people begin to shift. It probably shifting their neurochemistry and
Yes.
they are coming along. So
Yes.
beautifully said. And
Thank
we
you.
would be right back for some more questions there on Vivatude. Don't go anywhere. Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning in today. I wanted to pause here with a quick reminder. We talk a lot about the journey of the heart here on this show, and sometimes it requires a safe container to navigate that terrain. So wherever you are in your life, if you're navigating a relationship transition, maybe a career pivot, or are simply at a point where you are ready to get to your next level, I'm here to help. Using a blend of mindfulness, hypnotherapy, and heart math coaching, we can help you shift the patterns that have been holding you back, break out of old habits, and step into the confidence and authenticity that you want to bring to your next level. If this speaks to you, I invite you to reach out and book a complimentary 30-minute clarity call with me. And you can find all the details on my website at laurenarcher.live. Let's see what's possible for you. Thanks again for tuning in.
Welcome back to our next segment of Frequency of Love with Diane Woodford. In this part of our conversation, we turn into deeper insights, the stories that were turning points that made love not just an idea for you, Diane, but a way of life. So, what was that moment or season that made the frequency of love more than an idea for you?
So many seasons, so many moments, I tell you. But for the purpose of the show, we're going to just jump into that moment when my husband was in the hospital. Now, just a little backstory on me. I was a critical care nurse and clinical professor. And so I'm very familiar with hospitals and, all of that. It was during the time of COVID. And what happened was the treatment that I was receiving was very foreign to me and actually really alarming because it was contradictive of what you would expect in a hospital. It was like, hey, what happened to integrity? What happened to compassion? What happened? And I understand that, just the whole thing with the pandemic and all, how it just really had an effect on people. So I, in support of my husband, just really felt so much emotional bullying, so much projected fear, so much anger, so much pain. And it was just coming from every direction. So as I'm at the bedside trying to be there for my husband, I'm getting all of these emotions and feelings. And we were one love ambassadors going in. So it's just like your frequency that you carry, your message that you carry in life will be tested. And let me tell you, it was so tested, Anu. And it was very, very challenging because there were times where I wanted to scream, but
Mm.
instead I would buy a nurse lunch. There were people who were just horrible to me, and I just really wanted to give them a good shaking or something because it was just like, hey, come back, be nice. But instead, I bought them a coffee.
Mm.
There were things that I was doing, operating in the frequency of love that was beyond me.
Mm.
And once I got to that level, that's when I knew that the frequency of love was real. Because what happened is, as I kept going through, love began to deliver to me love back in the form of medical professionals, in the form of hospital CEOs, in the form of just different nurses and things that began to come and love on me. My love pot was almost empty, honestly, because it was just steady pouring at a constant frequency. And I was just really feeling drained. And when you're carrying that frequency of love and you're feeling drained, it's easy to see that rabbit hole and find yourself kind of starting to slip. But when you really hold true to love, before you can even slip and go down that hole, love is going to come and grab you and bring you back up and fill you back up and just replenish you. And that's what
Mm.
happened with me. Yes.
And Charles is healthy and recovered. That is also, isn't it? That's
Yes.
so wonderful.
Yes. Yes, he literally left out known as the Miracle Man from that hospital experience. Looking back on that, I truly believe in my heart and in my soul that as One Love ambassadors, we were used to go into that place that was so low on love and to be the love in action. Because when people are not treating you right or kind, they know that. So what's expected is for you to come back at them, and then what that does is allow them to get defensive and just go, and it just creates this cycle, this toxic cycle.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when people are treating you unkind and you say, hey, can I get you a coffee? Hey, I'd like to buy you lunch. Hey, that that shifts it. That's where that love comes in, and that's where it shifts the whole narrative, because it's like, oh my God.
Mm.
Because it allows them to look at their self. You don't have to say anything.
There are two things you said that people, when they are not being kind, they know it. And then the second thing is love in action. And I'm wondering if the aftercare, your book you recently published, they came as a result of that. What I
Yes.
mean, I'm just curious. What made you write aftercare?
Anu, thank you for that question. And I'm going to say it like this, not to sound like a cliche at all, but when I was going through what I was going through, I sure could have used a book like Aftercare. I wish that I had that book. So I wrote Aftercare as my love offering to hand back, hand forward, and hand all around me to people that are experiencing trauma, to people that are experiencing pain, to people that are just in a battle where hope and resilience is just needed, and it's just constant and constant, not only for caregivers but for healthcare workers, for nurses, for people to see that yes, the storm can be really, really rough, really rough. And there will be times where you feel like, is it ever going to end? And aftercare is my living testimony and message that yes, not
Mm.
only will the storm end, but you will thrive again. You'll be able to, there will be peace. Peace is attainable. Peace is there. And most importantly, you are not alone. You are not alone in your storm.
Wow, wow, wow. So beautifully said. And this might resonate with you, our listeners who are struggling and juggling with so many things. So don't go away. We'll be right back with the next segment of Vivatude, where we are talking about frequency of love with Diane Woodford.
If you've ever wondered what generational wealth really is, how families build it, how they lose it, and most importantly, how they keep it, my friend Kim Butler and I literally wrote the book on it. I'm Kate Phillips, and the book is Perpetual Wealth: How to Use Family Financing to Build Prosperity and Leave a Legacy for Generations. Readers are calling Perpetual Wealth the best money manual for families, a comprehensive guide to building generational wealth, a treasure trove of knowledge and wisdom. One reviewer even said, whether you're starting with $100 or $100 million, this book will change your family. Inside, you'll discover the 4 cornerstones of generational wealth, why typical financial advice sabotages prosperity, and how to create a family bank and pass down wealth and wisdom for generations. Your family's legacy starts with decisions you make today, so find Perpetual Wealth on Amazon in every format.
Welcome back to Vivatude. In our first 2 segments, we explored the meaning of frequency of love and how it became real to you, Diane, in your own life. And you gave us some really beautiful examples of how does it look like on a day-to-day basis. Now we turn to our listeners. And why does it matter to them, or why should it matter to them? Our listeners are sandwich generation. They are juggling careers, raising kids, they're doing caregiving for their aging parents. Their lives are more than full. And now we are asking them to care about frequency of love in the middle of all of this. Why?
Wow, thank you so much for that question. That's a wonderful question. And I'll tell you this, why the frequency of love should matter is because you really can't afford for it not to matter. What am I talking about? Love comes from the heart, Anu. I told you I was a retired nurse. I was a retired critical care nurse for the heart, for the heart. And there is so much that we carry in this generation of sandwich. We carry so much on our shoulders. There's so much frustration that builds up. There's so much stress that builds. Did you know that it is a statistical fact that a lot of caregivers, right? they become ill or they pass, they decease before the people that they are caring for. So, what is the best way that you can care for anyone else? You start with yourself. I'm going to take it back to that airplane announcement where they say, put the mask on yourself first, and then put the mask on the babies, and then put the mask on the elderly or others that cannot help themselves. I truly used to think that that was such a selfish thing. I did not really understand it until I did.
Hmm.
Until I did. And what I got from that is this: you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give love if you don't have love to give. It starts with you. And I'm gonna say this. I love to cook. So a lot of women in this generation, because I'm coming out of the sandwich generation. I'll be 60 on my next birthday in January. So I'm coming out of the sandwich and I'm going into a new road. But I understand that all things should be done in love. And when you take love out of anything, it is noticed and it is felt. Combing your child's hair. If there's no love in it, then you're pulling it and you're doing this, and they're just like, wow, you know. But if you're doing it and it's a little tangle or something, you say, honey, just hold on. And I know, and you just take extra time with it. Cooking a meal. One of the most famous ingredients in any meal, Anu, is love. And let me tell you something. You can taste it and you will know it. You can taste it and you will know it. It's not about how you shake the salt, but it's about the love that you put in that salt. So if I am not charged up enough, I will not cook. I will not cook because I don't just cook to eat. I cook with love. The way that I slice my vegetables, the way that I season my meat, the way that I stir my food, the way that I watch my food, the way that I plate my food, love. And you can tell, you know, if you got burnt around the edges, the food is just thrown on the plate and just all mixed together. You can tell. So for those that are listening, love is the key ingredient into everything. And I tell you this, as you pour love in, love will be poured back into you. It must.
As you say this, I am I'm transported in another world, even how you describe it. I can feel that how it would be that when we cooked with love, that you can, when you say we can taste love, I can taste love. I could feel and taste love. And how hurried have we become in our lives? We just like eating in the car and we just driving
Exactly.
away. And what you are inviting us to become more mindful and pause often to say, am I serving in love? Am I eating in love? Am I cooking in love? And
Yes.
this is beautiful. So
Yes.
thank you, Diane. We'll be back one more
Yes.
time for another segment. So I'm asking listeners not to go away, and we'll be back for the next segment of this show, Vivatude, where we are talking to Diane on frequency of love.
In a world obsessed with speed and production, the most transformational leaders are the ones who know how to slow down. For no matter what world that you lead, whether it's a workplace, a family, or a community, there is a way to connect and command respect in a deeper way to show up. So discover the Mindful Leadership Lab. It's an immersive workshop where you'll learn to connect clearly, lead calmly, gain respect, and embody presence as a daily leadership skill. So you can learn more at anuarora.com. That's ANUARORA.com, and take the first step, leading with presence and power.
Welcome back, dear listeners. You've been listening to Diane Woodford, our special guest on this episode of Vivatude. This is where wisdom meets connection, and today we have been connecting on a different frequency, the frequency of love. Diane, your book is called Aftercare. What does aftercare looks like as a practice for ourselves, and how does it ripple outward to those who we love?
Anu, that's a great question. So I'm going to start with present time and kind of go back to the book. Aftercare looks like living your life fully in love every single day. Aftercare looks like freedom. Aftercare looks like having a goal or dream manifested right before your eyes. Because before I even wrote Aftercare and I was going through the whole experience with Charles, we had already, as I said, been One Love ambassadors. So we were already living in love. And the very one thing that hadn't happened yet was we hadn't gotten to Paris. We hadn't came to France yet. That was the only thing. Our board was full of adventures and friends and family and love. Aftercare looks like healing, not in the word, but in the feeling and in the way that you're living. Aftercare looks like peace. Peace beyond the trauma. It is attainable. It is possible. Aftercare looks like a walk by the water, a walk in the park, a bike ride. Aftercare looks like a warm cup of tea, cuddle up in a chair, and just taking a breath. Aftercare looks like dancing in the rain. Aftercare looks like a train ride, a bike ride, a drive through the country. Aftercare is joy. Aftercare is giving your body the space to restore, to reset, to resume and thrive and not be stuck. That's what aftercare is. So hopefully, listeners, you've picked up on aftercare is whatever brings you joy, brings you peace, brings you love, attained, as simple as an ice cream cone, as magnificent as a trip to Paris. Aftercare.
Diane, your voice is so soothing and reassuring. And I know you and Charles also record meditations and make them available for anyone who wants to keep listening to you, even for their meditations, or even for calm, or even for raising that frequency of love. Where can they find you?
Thank you so much for asking that question. So yeah, we did. We did a 40-day recording. It's on our website, which is Paths, PATHS, the number 2, the word transformation altogether.com. When you go to the site, there's an aftercare button to the far right. You click on that, and as you click on that, we are offering the meditations 40 days And here's the thing, I know that meditation is not easy for everyone. So these meditations are less than 3 minutes. They're actually around 2 minutes per day, and they're life changing.
And I hope our listeners will go and check that out. We will have it in the notes for the podcast as well. My final question for you today is, if the listener feels distant from love, our this generation we are addressing is exhausted, really have their hands and minds full, and maybe some of them are lonely or disconnected, what's the first step that you'd invite them to take?
The first step that I would invite them to take is to say to themselves 5 times when they wake up, I love you. I love you, Diane. Diane, I love you. You are loved because I love you.
Hmm.
Take it to the mirror. You can just look in the mirror while you're brushing your teeth and say, you know what? I love you. I love you. And say it with conviction. I love you. Because in doing that, right, just that simple step, you just debunked. Nobody loves me. I don't feel loved. Because I promise you, when you say that to yourself, not only will you feel the love, but you will attract the love. And saying it to yourself, people will just come, you know what? I love you. What? Because you have gotten onto that frequency of love. It's just that simple. It's
Well,
just that simple.
it's magical too. As you were saying this, I love you, I love you, I love you. I know you were saying it, say it to yourself. I was also receiving it. And, my hands were going to go like this and say, Diane, I love you, I love you, I love you. And that had just started to come up. That emotion was starting to rise. And this is how powerful, magical, and magnificent it is. I love you.
I love you.
So thank you for being there with us, and have truly enjoyed speaking with you, Diane, and really appreciate all the time you've given to us and our listeners. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Diane, for your wisdom. Truly appreciate you being here on Vivatude and inviting us into this frequency of love and holding space for transformation and magic. As you often teach at your website, Paths to Transformation, that when we pause, we lean into love, reset, we can then step forward renewed. And love is not just what we feel, it is what we become when we slow down enough to hear our hearts and to connect with one another. And as I was experiencing this interview, there was a poem which came to my mind, which is from my own book called Ignite Your Light. And I'm going to end with that. It's called I Love You. I look in the mirror. Who's she? I like her. She smiles at me and she says, I like you too. I look at her and wonder, what if she can? And she chides, really? That's all you care? She disarms me with her smile. I notice her laugh lines deeper than before. The crinkles around her eyes are well defined too, and the gray in her hair is more than yesterday. Yet the curiosity about this world is intact. She feels alive through the mirror. My resistance melts. She's perfect as she is in the moment, creative and divine. I feel the power through her. She's happy. She whispers, I love you. And I have no qualms to admit that I love her too. May each one of us carry forward the invitation to live from this frequency, to pause, to love, to transform. And now, in the spirit of your work and your message, Diane, I am signing off with one love.
And thanks for listening to Vivatude. 4 hosts, 1 each week. We help you revivitude your next chapter because purpose, passion, and prosperity isn't out there. They're already within you. Brighter, bolder, truer. Vivatude.